Hey guys, CryptJ1958 here, bringing you another deck profile. This one is more of a nostalgia thing. I quit the game for a while, and this is the deck that kind of got me back into the game. So I just wanted to show you guys what I've done with it. It did kind of take a hit, losing that grass looks greener, but it's still a pretty fun deck, and it still works pretty well. So we're going to get into this 60-card Wightsworn. So let's get into the monster line up here. So to start, of course, the main boss monster is 3 King of the Skull Servant. For every Skull Servant in the graveyard, he gains 1,000 attack, and with all of the support, you can easily get him up to, I think the highest is about 18,000, which is definitely enough to OTK, and we have a few other cheeky surprises in the deck to kind of make that happen. Next is, of course, the Vanilla White Skull Servant. We need him just to get more Skull Servants in the graveyard. More support cards we have is Lady in White. If she's on the field, face-up zombie monsters level 3 or lower cannot be destroyed other than her, or cannot be destroyed by battle and are unaffected by spell and trap cards. If you have 2 of her out on the field, they actually protect each other. So you can actually lock your opponent out of doing just about anything to you. And then White Prince. When White Prince is sent to the graveyard, you can send a Lady in White and a Vanilla White Skull Servant to the graveyard as well to help you get 3 names. One of the things that I didn't mention is Lady in White and White Prince. They actually count as Skull Servant in the graveyard, so they bump up your King of the Skull Servant as well. We got White Princess. You can tribute her, or you can discard her from either the field or the hand and make monsters lose a 300 attack for each level they have. And when she is normal or special summoned, you can send a White Prince from the deck to the graveyard, just helping you put as many Skull Servants in the graveyard. And the last Skull Servant card we have is White Mare. You can actually use him to bring your banished Skull Servants back into the graveyard, or you can use him to special summon a Lady in White or a King of the Skull Servant. So that takes care of the Skull Servant side. And then we got our standard zombie support. We got 3 Shiranui Solitaire, 3 Unizombie, 3 Mizuki, and then 2 Plague Spreader, just to help you get into your synchro plays, and he's pretty good at recursion as well. After we lost that Grass Looks Greener, I had to really kind of rework the deck, and I ended up with 2 of him. There are a few things that you can switch out depending on the format and what you're trying to do with the deck. I like running him at 2 just because I can get into my synchro plays a little bit easier, and sometimes if you're not able to get to your King of the Skull Servant, your synchros are a great backup. So I run him at 2, and that takes care of all of these zombies. So then for our Wightsworn, we're running 3 Raiden, 3 Wolf, 2 Lila, 2 Lumina, and 2 Fleece. We run the Wightsworn just to mill to the graveyard. We want as many zombies in the graveyard as we can. So Raiden lets you mill 2 each turn, plus when you end the during your end phase you mill 2. Wolf, if he is milled, he is a special summon, 2100 beater, and a level 4, which helps you get into Minerva. Lila pops a spell or trap card. Lumina gets you a Lightsworn from the graveyard, and Felice, if she is milled, she comes back to the field, and you can tribute her to destroy a monster on the field, and then mill 3. So all of them really help getting stuff started. And then we just have 2 more monsters here, and they're more just starters. So we have 1 Mathematician, just to help you dump a White Prince to the graveyard to start getting your Skull Servants. And then a Curry Bandit. I run him just because there are a few spell cards that I like to get as soon as possible, and then that just helps get more stuff in the graveyard. So I run him at 1 just because I don't really want to see him a whole lot, but he can definitely help get stuff started. And then moving on to our spell cards here, we got 3 Solar Recharge, just to start our Lightsworn plays. 3 Charge of the Light Brigade, again, just to get our play started. And I'm running 2 Twin Twister. This deck does kind of fail against back row. And then our 1-ofs, I'm running 1 Burial from a Different Dimension. I may bump this up just because one of White Prince's effects is if he's in the graveyard, you can banish him and 2 other Skull Servants to special summon a King of the Skull Servant. You can actually chain this off of that and put all 3 right back into the graveyard. So it's like you didn't even... It basically gives you a free King of the Skull Servant summon. I may bump that up. I'm not quite sure yet. Then we got Foolish Burial. Again, just to dump the White Prince. 1 for 1 gives you a special summon of a King of the Skull Servant because he is a level 1. And that pairs off really well with Opti-Camouflage Armor. He can only be equipped to a level 1, and that level 1 can attack your opponent's life points directly. So if you can get him to 8,000 turn 1, equip this to him, and attack for game, and as long as your opponent doesn't have anything to stop you, then you're you pretty much got game there. We're also running Pot of Acquisitiveness. You do banish quite a bit in this setup, so that just helps you recycle. You grab some of your banished cards, and then shuffle them into the deck and draw 1, so it can help recycle your Mizukis, or even your Skull Servant as well. I also run 1 Reasoning. Reasoning is really good just because you're running so many different levels that most of the time you're going to get the special summon off of it, but because it can only special summon things that can be normal summoned, if you happen to see all 3 of your wolves while you're doing the reasoning, you get to special summon all 3 of those wolves. So it has a lot of good plays, and it helps start your graveyard. Even if they pick the card that the level that you get, if you're lucky enough to get like a White Prince, your combos have already started. I also run 1 Book of Life. I may bump this up. With this setup, you have a lot of recursion, so bringing cards back from the graveyard really isn't that difficult, especially with some of the extra deck cards, and being able to just recycle your Mizuki like crazy. So it helps in a pinch, but with a lot of the other stuff we can do, I'm not quite sure if bumping it up would work. I'm still testing a little bit. And then the last 2 cards that I run in the deck, Swords of Revealing Light, just to stall. Sometimes it does take a little bit to get the combo going, but once it does go, it just goes. And then Soul Charge, really just to get into your synchro plays, getting the cards you need. You get to synchro off and then go off from there. So that takes care of the main deck, and that is a full 60 cards. Let's get into the extra deck here. I am running 1 Minerva. Again, just to mill like crazy. Another card that I found is Bujinte Tsukiyomi. I have found that with some of the plays I do end up with a hand that I can't really use. Like if I draw wolves or fleas, or just cards that I can't use or that I need in the graveyard, I can make him and just discard my whole hand, which really helps. And that is actually all of the XZs. I would like to bump up Minerva up to 3. I just don't quite have the other 2 yet. Then for the synchros, I'm running 1 Stardust, 1 Beals, Coral Dragon, Black Rose, Shiranui Sun Saga, and Shiranui Samurai Saga. And I'm also running Infernity Doom Dragon. I actually have been without a hand quite a few times running this deck, and if I have no cards in my hand, I can select 1 monster my opponent controls and destroy that, and then inflict damage to the life points equal to half of the attack of that monster, or the attack of the monster it destroyed. So in those situations, I can push for game using that card. So it ended up working really well. I also have one Trishula and Cyframe Lord Omega, which just helps recycle. My banished cards, I can use Mizuki's over and over and over again with this card, which is really nice. Kind of stinks that it went down to 1, but with some of the other decks I understand why. And then the only 2 Link monsters I run as of right now are just too curious. Again, just to try to get the Wightsworn engine going and try to mill as many cards as possible. But with this deck, your whole goal is to mill as much as you can and then bring out your King of the Skull Servant at just a crazy high amount and an attack for game. A lot of the people that I play casually with, they actually don't like this deck because a lot of their counters are for special summon monsters, and if you play this deck right, you can actually normal summon your King of the Skull Servant, so he's immune to things like Lost Wind, things that require the monster to be special summoned. So it does kind of, it's a nice counter to stuff like that. It's a deck I have a lot of fun with. I still mess around with it from time to time when I'm kind of bored of the more competitive stuff I'm playing, or if I just want to change. It's a lot of fun. Go ahead and give it a try. Again, I am still trying to grow this channel, so like, subscribe, let's share these videos. Let's try to get people interested. Mostly I'm just trying to show you guys the decks that I have fun with, that I like using, to see if maybe it's something you haven't heard of, maybe it's something that might fit your playstyle that you might want to have a go using. So again, like, subscribe, let's share these videos, let's grow the channel. Make sure you hit that bell so when I do upload, you get that notification, and we'll keep growing strong, and I'll keep bringing you the content that I've been trying here. Thank you guys, and you have a great day.